world champion Wilfred Benitez. And like his brothers, this young Canadian slugger is used to attention.
When we was in school, we was like the kids admired us, because ever since we've been boxing since we were young, and it was always 4 or 5 brothers. They thought that was very remarkable, all 5 brothers boxing.
You might say the Hiltons were born to box. The sport is in their blood. Father Davey Sr. was a former pro, but never a champion. Now his hopes rest with his sons.
I have one sister, and she's the oldest, and when she was first born, before she was even born, my father had the little gloves on already, and when we found out it was a girl, he was awful discouraged.
I was in a household full of boys, and I was very involved in boxing because I had their father who was in boxing before.
And on the eve of his biggest bout, Matthew Hilton counts on his brothers for support.
My brothers are the greatest to me. We're all for one and one for all.
Hilton, what do you expect from him?
Well, Tim, strangely enough, he likes to fight fighters that put their back to the ropes. I think this is one time that Wilfred better stay off those ropes. This kid throws ripping punches, and he's very strong.
Well, Matthew Hilton knows one thing for sure. Of the more than 5,000 fans in attendance here today, I don't think there are more than a couple who will be cheering for Wilfred Benitez. And here comes Matthew Hilton now, 19-0, ranked number 4 in the world, 15 knockouts, but just 20 years of age. He's in against an experienced veteran, 27-year-old Wilfred Benitez, who's been in with some of the big names in the game and has won 3 world championships, so that is an edge for Benitez. But we talked with Matthew Hilton during the week, and he was very confident that he's ready to beat Benitez and move on to a world championship try. Listen to this crowd welcome their hero. With round 1 of this important 10-round super welterweight bout live from Montreal after this word and a word from your local stations.
Welcome to the Pulse Arena in Montreal, Canada. Mesdames, Messieurs, bienvenue au centre sportif Paul Sauvé à Montréal, Canada. Our main event this afternoon is a 10-round super welterweight bout. Le combat principal, cet après-midi, est un 10 rounds chez les super mi-moyens. Today's referee is Guy Jutras. Aujourd'hui, l'arbitre est M. Guy Jutras. In the red corner, fighting out of Puerto Rico, weighing 152 pounds and a half, with a record of 48 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, and 30 knockouts, the former holder of 3 world titles, Wilfred Benitez. Dans le coin rouge de Puerto Rico, pesant 152 livres et demi. Représentant avec une fiche de 48 victoires, 4 défaites, 1 nulle, 30 mises hors de combat, l'ancien détenteur de 3 championnats mondiaux, Wilfred Benitez. Et dans le coin bleu de Montréal, Canada, in the blue corner from Montreal, Canada, weighing 154 livres et demi, une fiche de 19 victoires, aucune défaite, 15 knockouts, weighing 154 and a half, with a record of 19 wins, no losses, and 15 knockouts. Matthew Hilton! Matthew Hilton!
Well, there was the welcome expected here by The crowd greeting Matthew Hilton. Wilfred Benitez, as he has looked all week and always does, very stoic, very calm. He's had so much experience and has been in lots of locales where they've cheered for the hometown guy. And Gil, I guess that's always a question. How much will it help Matthew Hilton to have this crowd behind him? How much will an experienced man like Benitez be bothered, if at all?
Well, a fiery type kid like Matthew Hilton, it certainly will help a great deal, Tim. And I don't think it can help Wilfred Benitez at all.
Matthew Hilton came in at 154.5. Wilfred Benitez at 152.5. Remember, Benitez started his career winning his first title 152.5. Remember, Benitez started his career winning his first title at 140 pounds. He fought up as a middleweight, lost to Mustafa Hamsho there in an elimination for a title, came back down to 154. And this would appear to be a comfortable weight for him, but Matthew Hilton is physically the bigger and stronger of the two boxers. And what you're seeing right now, I think, is what you can probably expect. The youngster will try to cut the ring off. It's only a 16.5-foot ring. That's also an advantage for Hilton here in his hometown against the speedier and kind of a boxer who likes to counterpunch and move like Benitez. Scoring on the 10-point must system in the province of Quebec. Judges all from Montreal. Jean Lapointe, Lise Lavallée, and Jean-Claude Theroux. And the referee is Guy Jutras.
Tim, I'm waiting for Matthew Hilton to land a big punch just to see how Benitez reacts.
Watching these fighters train, it was evident that they were both in superb condition. Reflexes must be a question about Benitez, as he has been somewhat more inactive. He is older. He's been through some wars. Hilton, on the other hand, young, fresh, and strong with just 19 fights. But he hasn't been in with anybody near the skills of Benitez.
Tim, you mentioned Benitez's reflexes. With his style, he has to depend on his reflexes because he always has been a marvelous defensive fighter.
Well, there's where Hilton wants to find Benitez, and Benitez will fight often from the corner and from the ropes, looking to counterpunch, but he didn't throw a punch in that last exchange. You saw Hilton just lose his balance. There's a body shot, and that dropped Benitez, and he gets up with disgust, but he was dropped with a hard right to the body by Matthew Hilton here in round one.
Tim, when Benitez loses, it's usually early. He went into it more.
He hasn't thrown a punch here, Gil.
Well, then the kid is overwhelming him right now. Benitez likes to stay on the ropes, but as I said earlier, he better get off the ropes with this kid.
Hilton keeping the pressure on. This is his style. He just walks in, cuts the ring off, and throws heavy leather.
And Tim, it's Benitez's style to fight off the ropes.
But usually to throw something back. We haven't seen that. Now out in the middle of the ring. Benitez apparently has survived this early onslaught into the under 30-second mark we go. Has been down once from a body shot.
He knows now that Matthew Hilton is a heavy puncher, Tim. Kid carries bricks in his hands.
Big left hook to the body by Hilton. That's his best punch. Final seconds of round one scheduled for 10.
Right hand on the chin by Hilton.
Tim Ryan with Gil Clancy. Matthew Hilton in the tartan trunks and the hometown crowd behind him. Had the three-time world champion Benitez down with a body shot in round one. Benitez in gold, a Puerto Rico flag on his belt.
Tim, Benitez is going to have to land a couple of punches to make Matthew Hilton respect him. Look at the way the kid could set to throw that hook to the body. Has all day.
Benitez still backing up and looking to counter, at least on this occasion. He's throwing some punches.
And Tim, so far, he has stayed off the ropes this round.
Hilton cutting off the ring, backs him to the corner again, and he moved him with a body shot.
Tim, Benitez calls himself the Bible of boxing. It looks like this kid has read the Bible.
So far, Hilton planning to keep pressure on. The veteran. What a heavy-handed young man he is. He and his brother Davey, both world ranked. Davey Jr. as a welterweight in the top 10. His younger brother Stuart on the card today in a 4-round 135-pound bout. He looks like a great prospect. Brother Alex, also a pro, former Canadian middleweight champion, considered an up-and-coming professional at the age of 21. Right now, Matthew getting a chance to perhaps move on to a world championship try. Under a minute to go in round number 2 of the scheduled 10-rounder.
Tim, I want to see what happens to Matthew Hilton now. Benitez nails him with a good shot. Benitez doing a lot better this round.
Benitez's last fight, August of '85, he went 10 rounds and won a decision over Kevin Moley. Got off the floor in round 1 of that fight, I believe he was down in the first round.
He was. And as I said, he's a slow start.
Oh, there's another tremendous body shot.
Well, Tim, Benitez is in great shape physically, though, Tim.
Hilton pounding away on him. Matthew Hilton with wins over Nino Gonzalez, Francisco de Jesus, and Vito Antuofermo. But of course, Antuofermo really over the hill when he came up here to fight Matthew Hilton. Attempting a comeback at the time, and he was overwhelmed by Matthew Hilton. Final seconds, round 2. Wilfred Benitez comes out quickly this round, landed an overhand right. And now left underneath, so Benitez rallying somewhat here in the 3rd round, but there's that big left hook to the body by Hilton.
That is definitely Matthew Hilton's best punch, that left hook, body or head. He loops his right hand, Tim.
A 9-time National Golden Gloves champion in Canada, pounding Benitez in the corner again. Hilton ranked number 4 by the WBC, number 5 by the WBA at this weight, 154 pounds. Benitez, the 8th rank in the WBC ratings. Hilton with an overhand right behind that left of the body.
The referee has warned Matthew Hilton twice now to keep his punches up. Next time, I think he'll take a point away.
Referee is Guy Jutra, a very respected referee in world circles. He is a native here in Montreal. Short chopping right by Hilton. Left to the body and then to the head. We're in round 3, scheduled for 10.
Tim, I think if Benitez tried moving to his right, he'd take that left hook away from Matthew Hilton. I mean, the kid really gets sets to wing it. You have time to move away from it.
More than 5,000 on hand here at the Paul Sauvé Arena, out very near the Olympic site. Indeed, as we said at the top of the program, the preliminaries in the '76 Olympic boxing were held right here. Under a minute to go, round 3.
A couple of good left hooks by Benitez. And Tim, Matthew Hilton's mouth is wide open, and he's breathing very, very heavily.
Well, he used up a lot in that first round.
Left hook. There was the left hook, Tim.
Yep.
That's the big punch.
He brought it up from underneath, and he wobbled Benitez. Benitez trying to survive in the corner.
Tim, he has to have some chin to take those 2 shots. Right hand and a left hook right on the button.
Under 30 seconds we go. In the 3rd round, Hilton continuing to bang to the body now.
Matthew, okay, watch this now. That's the last time now, okay?
And a warning you could hear from Guy Jutra, using Matthew's first name. Final seconds, round 3.
Stop it, stop it.
Number 4, scheduled for 10, Matthew Hilton on the left of your screen in the tartan trunks. 3-time world champion Wilfred Benitez in gold, and moved again by that left to the body from Hilton. Benitez was down in round 1 from a body shot, and he has been wobbled 2 or 3 times since then. Tim Ryan with Gil Clancy live from the Paul Sauvé Arena in Montreal.
Benitez is allowing Matthew Hilton to take too many free shots, Tim. He sets and he wings and he bangs, and Hilton, Benitez does not punch back. Has to show a little more offense.
We're in round 4, scheduled for 10.
The right hand of Matthew Hilton is just used to set up the left hook.
And yet he's a right-handed fighter, so it's an interesting, not so much concept, but an interesting practice that works for Matthew Hilton. I'm sure that with the years that will follow as a 20-year-old, that he may develop that right hand. Could be as formidable a weapon as the left.
He must have studied a lot of movies of Mexican fighters, Tim, because that's that typical Mexican left hook to the liver.
Reminds me somewhat, too, of Barry McGuigan. Young Irish featherweight who's got that devastating left to the body. Watch it.
Benitez still looks in very good condition, though, Tim.
Yes, he does. I think any doubts that he was just going to show up here today have been dispelled, because even though, as we see it, Hilton is winning the fight rather handily, Benitez is certainly very much in it, giving it his top effort. Under a minute to go. He has an opportunity at a 4th world title shot if he can win here today. Like Alexis Arguello, he wants that badly. For Benitez, it would be 140, 147, 154. Left hook to the ear. Backed up Benitez again. If he were to win another crown, it would be at this weight. He defeated Maurice Hope.
Been the first time in a fight that Matthew Hilton backed up at all.
1981 that was, when Benitez won the WBC super welterweight crown for Maurice Hope. There's a right hand by Hilton that landed. Coming to the end of round number 4 with Hilton pounding away and backing up Benitez. Number 5, Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy live from Montreal. Wilfred Benitez on the left in the gold trunks. He will have to rally here as we are now approaching the halfway mark in a scheduled 10-rounder. Matthew Hilton in the tartan trunks has had the best of it. Entire Hilton family on hand. There's a right and a left combination that sent Benitez back to the ropes again.
Benitez has to find a way, Tim, to tie up that left hook. Everything is left hook.
Most observers of Matthew Hilton say that he's really come a long way in his last 2 or 3 fights with his defense. And he's a much better boxer, and he's much more sound defensively. He was always a slugger, and there he landed that hook again.
And what Benitez is doing, he's slapping a jab out there, and the perfect counter for a jab is a good left hook. I think he should throw that right hand lead more often, move to his right, try something a little different, because he certainly isn't getting results this way. There's the right hand lead. That's a little better. He didn't get countered.
Another solid body shot. Wobble Benitez again. Now he just landed a little uppercut counter, but not much on it. And Hilton stays right there. Wilfred's wife Elizabeth here as his manager, watching from ringside.
Benitez is landing some short punches in there now, though, Tim.
Okay, break, step back. Let's go in the middle of the ring. Come on.
That was his best work in terms of counter-punching off the ropes, that last series. Under a minute to go in round 5.
You can just see Matthew Hilton getting set, though. And Benitez is allowing him to get set.
There's a right hand to the body from Benitez.
Look how long it took Matthew Hilton to get set to throw that hook, and Benitez waited there to get nailed with it.
Okay, let go the arm, Matthew. Let go the arm.
Benitez obviously in great physical condition. There's been much talk in boxing over the years about how, despite his obvious talent, he was never a great trainer. In most cases, he didn't need to. He could show up on a couple of weeks' work and beat most guys. But it's clear that he's prepared well, and we're told he's been working hard physically for about 4 months for this fight.
Okay, hold it.
Low blow by Matthew Hilton. Very low blow.
Gets a warning from Utah. They took a point away. Final seconds of round 5. Number 6. And a low blow by Matthew Hilton cost him a point in the last round, round number 5. He had been warned previously by referee Guy Jutras. And we saw Benitez land a right-hand lead. Matthew Hilton, one of 5 boxing brothers, 4 of them professionals. 14-year-old Jimmy planning also to be a pro. There's a big left hook by Hilton again.
And there it is again, double left hook. Works that left hook overtime.
Right-hand lead scored, but as you point out, Gil, he does not get nearly the snap on his right.
Let go, let go.
He gets points for it, but he didn't do the damage to Benitez that he does with his left.
Well, he uses it to set up that hook, Tim. He hooks beautifully off a right hand. Anytime Benitez just lays that left jab out there, he's in danger of getting knocked cold.
A couple of fights ago, Matthew Hilton. There is wobble Benitez with a left hook. Hilton trying to finish him, getting a little wild now, but Benitez backed up on the ropes.
Well, there's the radar, Tim. Matthews planted, thrown about 7 punches and missed them all. Now he's nailing them, though. Nailed him again with a right hand.
Benitez now leaning on Hilton to hold himself up. Benitez's legs are gone, trying to get some life back in them.
Tim, you don't become 3-time world champion without having courage. And Benitez is certainly showing courage, if not anything else.
We're in the 6th round, just under a minute to go. Benitez punching back here. A game effort, and Hilton maybe a little punched out. Benitez with no snap, but landed some counters inside. Hilton with his arms down at his sides. He's a little arm weary. Benitez still on wobbly legs.
Has no legs at all now, Tim. None.
Another left rips up from Hilton. Hilton is tired. He's tired. He used up a lot. Under the 30-second mark.
Just doesn't have a leg under him, no, Tim.
Okay, let go the arm, that's it.
Here comes, you can see Matthews setting him up. Here comes the hook, back again.
Coming to the end of round 6, and look at Benitez battling back, but Hilton stays right there.
Get right, step back.
The end of round number 6. Matthew in the limelight here today. Round number 7. Benitez down in round 1 from a body blow. Somehow stayed on his feet in the 6th.
Benitez still looks rocky, Tim. Legs aren't there.
Well, it'll be a question as to how much sting Hilton lost with all of the leather he threw. Let's find out about his conditioning. Ability to bounce back. You pointed out he was breathing heavily early in the fight.
Yes, he was. And he was having everything his own way.
Round 7 scheduled for 10. Benitez threw one with ill intention, a right-hand looper. Hilton caught it on the arm. We are live from the Paul Sauvé Arena in Montreal. Feel the tension in the air. This crowd knows the importance of the fight to their hero, Matthew Hilton.
Tim, I think a lot of them are thinking the way we are. He better not punch himself out. I'm sure they told him that in the corner. Wasting a lot of energy, Tim.
Benitez, who won titles from Cervantes and Palomino and Maurice Hope, beating the likes of Bruce Curry and Harold Weston. Been in there with Hearns and Leonard and Duran all those years. of experience, just 27 years of age, and he's calling on that experience and the heart and the conditioning to stay in here with this youngster from Montreal. Matthew Hilton not nearly as busy. He just, I don't think, has got the strength in his arms to throw as many punches now.
Well, Tim, if he lands one big one, you'll see he'll get that adrenaline back again. He knew he wasted a lot of energy last round. And I guess he figures he's way ahead.
And it may have been some counsel from Dad in the corner that has him slowing his pace a little here. Under a minute to go in the 7th. He's very contained, Matthew Hilton, fighting with a lot of maturity.
Watch it.
Started his career as just a wild slugger, and here's a good circumstance. Don't you agree, Gil, that he's showing poise here?
Timmy's showing poise. Really, the biggest weakness I see is his right hand. He loops his right hand and they're arm punches.
Well, if we gave him a week with you, you'd fix that, wouldn't you?
I'd like to try.
Hilton, along with his dad, has another pal of Gil Clancy's in the corner, Jimmy Ellis, former heavyweight great, helping the entire Hilton family. Final seconds, round 7. Gil Clancy, we are back live. You're looking at the Paul Sauvé Arena, where more than 5,000 fans are enjoying what they're seeing so far, but perhaps a little concern in round 7, as Matthew Hilton either paced himself through the round. Well, I guess that's what he was doing, as he's picking it up here in the 8th. We have him well ahead on the cards. He had a point taken off in round 5 for a low blow after a couple of warnings. Solid left uppercut. Benitez trying to throw punches.
It looked like the referee was going to jump in and stop the fight, and then Benitez just shook his head like he's not hurting me.
I think you're dead right, Gil, and Jutra, in respect for that, pulled away. And indeed, Benitez looks all right. But more points rolled up by Matthew Hilton.
Also more energy expended, Tim. If Benitez is going to do anything in this fight, he has to really mount an offense about now, because the kid is tired.
Well, the question mark I've had about from the time Benitez came up to 154 is, can he really move a natural 154-pounder? I mean, he stopped Maurice Hope when he first came up, but this guy just looks physically so much stronger than Benitez.
I think this guy is physically much stronger than almost any 154-pounder you're going to see, Tim.
And probably headed to the middleweight, would you not think, at age 20?
Yes, in boxing, he's still a baby. Benitez landed a nice combination, Tim, right hand, left hook. But that's exactly, I really think he should lead with that right hand and come back with the left hand instead of the other way around. And it has been working for him. The few times he's tried it.
On our card, he needs a knockout to win this fight. And I would think even Benitez, being as he's fighting in Montreal here, well, Tim, feel the same way.
Benitez is very, very strange, Tim. Like, for example, when he fought Tommy Hearns, it wasn't that close a fight. He thought he won it. And he may think that this is a lot closer fight.
Indeed, he may have a totally different impression, but hopefully his corner is telling him otherwise for his sake. There's a good left by Benitez.
Good combination. Two punches to the body, one to the head. Actually, he's landed more in this round than any round in the fight. And Matthew Hilton's mouthpiece almost came out. He's tired, Tim. He's very tired.
Round 8, Hilton looking over to his corner.
I'm sure Benitez knows he's tired too, Tim.
Down to the 22nd mark, scheduled for 10 rounds.
Let go, fight your way out. That's it. Let go, man. That's it.
Coming to the end of the 8th round, and a tired-looking Matthew Hilton, but again he landed a body punch with Benitez off balance. Wilfred Benitez comes out quickly here. He must know that he has to rally and perhaps catch a tiring Matthew Hilton.
Tim, this is the key round for Benitez. He has to really mount a big offense this round because Matthew is tiring, but if he gets through the 9th round, there's no way that Benitez is going to get him out in the 10th round. He can hang on for 3 minutes.
Benitez landed a good solid left hook in the last exchange. One of his best punches of the entire fight. Move the mouthpiece of Hilton again.
Tim, if you notice now, Benitez is leading with right hands and coming back with the hook, and it is effective.
Round 9, scheduled for 10. A right-hand lead landed by Hilton. Now Hilton backs into the corner. Benitez trying to keep him in there.
Break. Step back. Let's go. Step back.
Really something to see a heart of a champion, Tim. The way this Benitez is trying so hard now to win this fight.
Let go. Break.
And he's landing some effective punches.
Both fighters scoring in that exchange.
Fight your way out. That's it.
Matthew Hilton, 15 knockouts in 19 fights, so he's only been the distance 4 times.
Good stiff jab by Benitez, Tim. His best jab in the fight. And a good right hand by Benitez.
Good solid right. That stopped Hilton in his tracks.
Here comes the fighting heart of Matthew Hilton now, Tim.
Okay, break. Step back.
Woke him up.
Come on. Let's go. Come on.
Matthew has only been 10 rounds twice in his pro career.
Tim, is he trying hard? Matthew, he's putting everything he has into every punch.
It's only the 3rd time that he's been into the 9th round. So he is still learning on the job. And what a lesson to be getting from the 3-time world champion Wilfred Benitez.
Again, Benitez led with the right hand, Tim, and landed.
That's been his best work. Under 30 seconds to go. Hilton trying to get the adrenaline flow again. Right hand down. Look at Benitez punch back. Just coming in the ring now. A big left hand was the knockout punch after a right hand had hurt Benitez. He was leaning back over the top strand, trying to avoid the rest of the blows, but a huge left hand, which is the best punch, as we pointed out, from Matthew Hilton, absolutely knocked him out on his feet. He just sagged to the canvas, and the doctor is in the corner of Wilfred Benitez, attending to him now. They have him on the stool, and there is Matthew Hilton. A sensational 9th round knockout after Hilton had been sagging somewhat in rounds 7 and 8. But he put it back together in the 9th and scored a 9th round knockout.
Tim, here we see it in the exchange again. Right hand sets him up. It's that slapping right hand, another slapping right hand. Left hook to the body. And there's that big left hook on the chin, Tim, and that's it.
Jutra in quickly. He saw the look on Benitez's face, jumped right in, made sure another punch wasn't thrown, and then put the count as Benitez sagged to the canvas here in sections. Referee Jutra picked up the count, and Benitez never made it back. But the crowd here at Paul Sauvé enjoying the victory by Matthew Hilton. It's still to come on CBS Sports Saturday. We'll be going to San Francisco with our John Tesh, joining Debbie Thomas with a preview of the World Figure Skating Championships. And we'll be back here live at the Paul Sauvé Arena to talk with the winner, Matthew Hilton, in just a moment. Stay with us. We're back live in a chaotic ring scene at Paul Sauvé Arena, and here is Matthew Hilton. Matthew, I know you must be tremendously excited knocking out a great champion like Wilfred Benitez. It looked like you were tiring after getting a big lead. What did you come up with to come up with a knockout punch?
Well, I was looking for a little knockout happy after knocking him down a couple times in the first early rounds. And then my father, when we got back to the corner, he said, "You're going off your track. I told you to use a jab." And I was trying to left hook. I caught him. And the right hand I was effective with. But then in the last, I think it was the 7th round, my father says, try that right hook. You're trying everything and he's ready for it. He's a smart fighter. So I did that and that's what caught him.
Were you getting a little arm weary before that 9th round?
No, because I knew that Benitez was going to try and come on in the later rounds. So my father said, you better pace yourself. I told you not to go.
Ah, well, that's what we thought. Right, exactly. We thought Dad might have been telling you to pace yourself there because you had, on our card, a 6-round lead. Let's take a look at that knockout. I'm sure you're going to enjoy seeing it. You actually set it up with a right hand and then landed the big left hook.
Yeah, well, I could see him getting a little weary. And once I seen that look in his eyes, there was no way I was going to let up. So I kept throwing it, and as long as he would stay there, I was going to keep throwing.
Well, we're going to see it from another angle. I'm not sure we'll see the right hand that set it up, but right now he's trying to stay away from you, leaning over the ropes, and there's the big left hand. The left hook is obviously your best punch.
Well, it is, but my father's been working on the right hand, and that's what I was effective in the early rounds. And, well, I was successful. And I just thank Don King Productions and CBS Sports for giving me this opportunity against a great fighter like Wilfred Benitez.
Okay, well, Matthew, congratulations to you. I know American audiences are looking forward to seeing you in action again.
Oh.
Very exciting young fighter, and perhaps next for you a title shot.
And that's my dream, and we're doing it here in Montreal, where there's never been a champion. And with me, my father, my brothers, and our work, and Don King, we're on our way.
Okay, congratulations, Matthew Hilton. We do want to report that Wilfred Benitez is all right. He's been attended to by physicians and is leaving the ring at this moment. And we're happy to report that this great champion who fought valiantly against a younger and stronger